My friends, hello. Good to see you on this, the 42nd episode of Good Art, Bad Art. For those tuning in for the first time, my name is Greg Harradine. I'm a composer, and here on Good Art, Bad Art, I discuss songs, albums, compositions of any kind, occasionally books, and try to figure out are they examples of good art or bad art. So please send me your suggestions for what I should look at next. On today's episode, we're looking at an album which is out today. I'll give my reactions to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard's 27th studio album, Phantom Island. And if you've watched my videos before, you'll know these are all filmed in one take, over 8 minutes, no edits. You'll get my true and honest, unedited opinion. So here we go. I've listened to it through. It's a really fun album, right? I can't believe it's their 27th studio album. This is a band who've been going about 15 years, I think. So prolific. Yeah, any fan will know that they've released a huge number of albums of varying different styles. Yeah, and here they are employing an orchestra. I think a couple of years back, apparently they performed at the Super Bowl, and was it the Hollywood Bowl, something like that? Sorry, I'm British. I don't quite follow these American things. But they performed at a large sporting event in America, and they met the LA Philharmonic backstage. And that inspired them to have an orchestral sound, apparently, on an album. These songs were recorded at the same time as their previous album, Flight B741, but they decided that they wanted to split the songs over 2 albums. And I'll just like to read a quote from Stu Mackenzie, the frontman, because this explains his thinking behind this album, really. So, this is him talking about Phantom Island. The songs felt like they needed this other energy and colour, that we needed to splash some different paint on the canvas. We didn't know we were going to have an orchestra dubbed on top when we were recording. If we had, that would really have changed the songs. But we went into it very free and easy. The songs were written in a very improv way, stitched together from multiple takes or longer jams. It feels like you're in the room with the band and the orchestra, that we are all in the same room together. So there we go. I find it very interesting that the songs were written first, before they then had the afterthought to add on an orchestra. The orchestra, by the way, is conducted by the British musician Chad Kelly, and he does a great job conducting the orchestra, and I believe he orchestrated the parts as well. And yeah, it does sound like a jam album, right? In that way, it's certainly very cohesive. Yeah, from start to finish, it sounds like a jam album. This band, they're just having a good time, good vibes. It's a party album. It's a good album for the summer. We're in summer now, of course. At least here in Britain, we're in summer now. So yes, it reminds me of like being at a festival. This would be a great album to hear performed at a festival. You've had a few beers, you're with your mates, you're outside. Excellent. But, and I'm about to get into my slight misgivings here. Now, don't get me wrong. I think this is a really fun album. Yeah, good songwriting. Yeah, great melodic hooks. I like it. But my misgivings, I'd like to use this phrase, which is often spoken about in terms of literature. The phrase is, happiness writes white. Okay, which means, of course, that if you just write about happy things, it doesn't really come across. It doesn't really come off the page very well. It doesn't grab you, right? Which is why so many great books are about terrible things, right? Terrible things, murder, death, awful events. Because it's more interesting, frankly. It's more exciting, yeah? And I wonder, I'm just putting this to you, musically speaking, is it also true that happiness writes white or not? Is sad or angry music more powerful? I think it often can be more memorable. But obviously there's tons of great happy music out there. This is a happy album, but my problem is it's just a bit too happy. It's a bit too, I don't want to put a downer on it, but I think it's more entertainment than it is art, let's say. That might be being a bit too, might be going too far. I think there are great artistic elements, and these are great musicians. I love what they do, but it's more let the good times roll rather than let's create a profoundly interesting musical creation here. Yeah, I mean, what do you think? Please let me know whether you think I'm on the money with this or not. But yes, more entertainment than art, perhaps. And you can hear it's a jam album. Sadly, what happens is they quite often they fall back to the same chord progressions again and again. Particularly one, I could not believe how often in this album we hear chord 1, right? Then we hear flattened chord 7, and then we hear chord 4, right? It's a classic Mixolydian chord progression. It's quite common, really. 1, flat 7, 4. So like if we're in the key of C, it would be C, B flat, F, all major chords, right? Much like in Sweet Home Alabama. If you're of the school of thought, as I am, that it's in D Mixolydian. D, C, G. Yeah, D Mixolydian. Certainly not G major. Of course not. Couldn't possibly be in G major. Or could it? Anyway, yes, just unfortunately, because it's a jam album, they fall back on these progressions quite often. Not all the time. There are other interesting chord progressions, interesting harmonies, but they fall back on their favourite ones. And certain uses of certain modes. I've mentioned Mixolydian. There's Phrygian there. There's Dorian passages. It's quite nice, really, but it's not their most musically interesting album. Best track probably is Phantom Island, the opener. Lovely, quiet opening with piano and strings. And then it kind of goes through different sections. It's quite a journey. Big jam near the end. There's kind of this like Thin Lizzy-esque dual guitar solo. And it ends with a very high, like almost ear-piercing note on the flute or piccolo. That probably, I would say, is the best track on this album. I've said the orchestral writing is good. It's great, yeah. I think Chad Kelly's done a good job. Not over the top. Has some nice moments. I would have liked a few more indulgent orchestral moments. You know, for my money, some of the best orchestral writing on a pop or rock album is Van Dyke Park's orchestral writing on Joanna Newsom's album East, which I've also reviewed on this channel. Lyrics are always interesting, aren't they? Always interesting. Here's a little snapshot of some lyrics from the opening track. Fuck, I never thought I'd lose my mind. I suppose sanity is easy to lose and hard to find. Hey, and can you hear that tintinnabulation? Are all the bats in the belfry again? So, lyrics are always good. So there we are. Perhaps more entertainment than art, but nevertheless a fun summer album. I did enjoy it very much, and I'll give it a score. I always give a score out of 100. Score for this of 70. 70 out of 100. So please let me know what I should look at next. Please do subscribe, and goodbye from me.